Hey guys, Joseline'S Cabaret Texas Reunion, episode 3. I'm sorry for the delay. I've been very busy this week and I also wasn't feeling well. And if you're watching this on TikTok, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube and follow me on TikTok if you aren't already. So this episode started with another clip of all the ladies on stage and they were basically taking a bow and thanking the audience for watching them dance. Like I said, I think it should have just been a separate music special, but it does make you want to go see the cabaret. So after the quick shot of the ladies on stage, we jump back into where we left off with Hennessy and Ros going back and forth. So Ros was like, F you, and Hennessy was like, yeah, I'd F myself. And Ros was like, no, that's the problem. You F everybody, because we know Hennessy be eating everybody cat. So then Hennessy looked over at Neek and was like, oh, you gonna help your friend Ros? And Neek was like, why you bringing me in there? I felt like that was Hennessy with a guilty conscience. Like she thought that Neek was gonna help Ros by saying that Hennessy is a eater. Rose and Hennessy kept trying to tell each other that they want to fit in, and it's like both of y'all want to fit in. Hennessy, you eating everybody box because you want to be friends with them. And Rose, you was doing a lot of ass kissing in the house as well, choosing sides between the OGs and the newbies, trying to get the girls to like you. You could tell, like y'all both wanted to be liked by the ladies, and y'all wanted the ladies to like y'all more than the other. So Neek stepped up because Hennessy had called her out, and she was basically saying, well, I never was trying to make y'all fight each other, but I don't feel like that's true. I feel like Neek and all of the girls at the beginning was definitely trying to cause an issue between Hennessy and Rose. And I specifically remember Neek being one of the people telling Rose, like, your friend is fake. Like, Neek and Hennessy literally ended up fighting when they got off the bus in that episode because Neek was inserting herself in Hennessy and Rose business. So then as far as Hennessy saying that she would fight Rose for the spot, which is what made their whole friendship crumble, Hennessy was saying that Rose knew she was going to say that, and Rose actually told her to say it. Rose said that's not true. Honestly, they did a lot more going back and forth, but I just still didn't really understand what is the root of the Hennessy and Rose issue. Is it because y'all friendship fell apart and then Hennessy ended up winning the money, so now Rose didn't get her half? Like, what is it really about? But anyway, Neek, Rose, and Hennessy started going back and forth in front of Janisha, and she was like, okay, y'all getting a little too loud right in front of me, and y'all not about to squabble in front of me. So she had to stand up like, hello? And it really looked like Hennessy and Rose was just trying to stage their own storyline, coming in as friends and then falling out to get the show hype. Then one of them wins and they split the money. But the storyline that they planned clearly went wrong. So Isis and Andrea both tried to get up and was telling Hennessy and Rose, look how we made up. Y'all just need to squash it, shake hands. So Andrea put her hand out and grabbed Isis' hand. And it looked like when she squeezed Isis' hand, she must have almost broke that shit. Isis looked like she was about to fucking cry. So they let go of the handshake and they ended up hugging it out. But Rose was like, no, I'm not hugging it out with her. I'm not hugging it out with her. And they continued to argue. Then it turns into Rose saying that Hennessy wanted to eat her out too. Hennessy says she never talked about doing anything sexual with Rose ever. So again, we don't know who's lying or who's telling the truth. But with Hennessy's track record, I'm going to have to say I believe Rose about that one. So Joseline had stepped off stage, and when she came back, she saw that Hennessy and Rose was still going back and forth. And it's like, y'all been arguing for about 5-10 minutes straight. Ain't nobody swinging. So enough is enough. So Joseline was like, okay, you could get out her face, Hennessy. And she had to push Hennessy like, bitch, sit down. So then Joseline says, and I have something serious I want to get to the bottom of. All 5 seasons, I've had y'all girls talking about me, saying I'm abusive, talking about me and my husband, this, that, and the third. And I have a bone to pick with Queen Envy. So I'm going to give y'all the backstory. Queen Envy is friends with Erica from BGC9, a.k.a. Lucci V. If you know, she does reviews on YouTube of Zeus and Now That's TV shows. And her and Envy are both from Chicago, and Envy used to join her on those reviews. So the season that Joseline and Ballistic got into it with Amber at the reunion, and Ballistic allegedly put his hands on Amber, Envy did a review with Erica talking shit about Joseline and Ballistic, but then goes on to apply to be on the show. So if you felt like they were abusive and you know how Joseline gets down, why would you apply to go on the show? Joseline started getting up, telling Envy that she's a thrifty $2 ass B. How dare she talk about her husband? So as Joseline is walking towards Envy, at first she had started getting up, but Joseline was like, sit down, B. And Envy immediately sat her ass down. And the full clip of Joseline going off on Envy is on my page, a couple posts down on TikTok. Because Joseline's voice started getting all raspy like she was on demon time. Stop talking about my man, bitch. So she's walking around the stage yelling at all the girls now. None of y'all bitches gonna talk about my man. No motherfucking more. These were some of the girls' facial expressions. I just felt like it was hilarious. Neek looked like she ready to laugh at Joseline. Andrea and Danny crying as usual. Right here you can see when Joseline is walking past them saying, y'all not gonna talk about my man no more. Andrea crying and Danny over here like, hands up, don't shoot. Rose just looked tired and like she ready to go home. And Diamond and Wet Wet looking like, girl, bye, we OGs and we know how you really get down. You and Ballistic used to be doing the most, but we gonna let you say what you saying. You know, they looking like Joseline. We know the truth. We been around. So Joseline started breaking down a little bit and she was like, it really be effing with me how y'all girls will come on my show, but y'all talked about me. And why wouldn't you tell me that before you came on my show? I really effed with you and I wanted you to be in the cabaret because you were BBW. And Jocelyn was like, you should have told me that you and your raggedy ass, dusty ass, dirty ass, nothing ass, broke down ass, busted ass B friend was talking about me. Mind you, she's talking about Erica from BGC, like I said. So Erica from BGC has responded to Jocelyn, referring to her as a nothing, dusty, $2 broke bummy ass bitch. So Erica said, Jocelyn, what's tea? Watch your mouth when it come to me, boo, because I'm not one of those cabaret girls that's scared of you. I said what I said. You do be bullying them hoes. How you mad at the truth? Go get your lick back from Amber Rose, Powder Ranger. And I know Natalie been trying to get Erica on baddies for a while and trying to bring her over to Zeus. So just keep that in mind. We'll see what happens with this if it goes anywhere. Now, Envy kept trying to say it was 3 years ago and she didn't remember saying that. And it's like, okay, you might not remember verbatim what you said, but you remember that you talked about that reunion with your friend Erica and that you had negative opinions. You obviously can remember that you felt like Jocelyn and Ballistic were wrong in that situation against Amber. You might not remember exactly what you said, but you know that you said something and it wasn't positive. And Jocelyn said even after she found out what Envy said, she still let her come to the show in Chicago because Melissa told her, F her. The people in Chicago want to see her, so you should still bring her out. And Jocelyn, as a businesswoman, did just that. So Jocelyn really started getting upset and crying, and she was like, I just feel like I've gone through so much to get to where I'm at, and these girls keep playing with my name. So Janisha called Envy out and said what I said, and basically said, I don't feel like you don't remember something like that you said 3 years ago. I feel like that's cat. So I don't know if they edited it like this or if it was really like this in real time, but Jocelyn went from crying to Envy trying to still apologize, and then out of nowhere the tears dried up and Jocelyn was just like, sit down, ho, I'm done talking to you. And I was like, damn, I thought you was just breaking down crying, but okay, I guess we back to cursing bitches out. So Envy kept trying to talk and Jocelyn was just talking over her. She was like, where's my makeup? Where's my makeup? Like she clearly didn't want to hear nothing that Envy had to say. So then Envy decides to turn her attention and basically take her anger out that she knows she can't take out on Jocelyn on Diamond. And she tells Diamond, I don't like how you tried to kick me while I was down. Envy claimed that Diamond called her a fat AB, but then Envy was calling Diamond fat and saying how she's shaped like a diamond. And I'm just like, y'all both are pretty big. Like y'all are in similar size ranges and y'all are both on the larger side. And Diamond was like, in those clips that Jocelyn is talking about, you were bashing the season that I was on, but clearly you don't remember. And Envy was like, well, I actually don't care about whatever I said about you and how you feel about it. I only care about the boss lady. So Envy and Diamond still was going back and forth. And I feel like Diamond really triggered Envy when she said, well, you are bigger than me. Because at the end of the day, while y'all are in similar size ranges, Envy, you are bigger than Diamond. So Envy was like, Diamond, get up. And she started walking towards her. So Diamond got up and they started fighting. Envy did tear Diamond up. Diamond was trying to grab on that head. Once Envy's wig came off, she was bald. So Diamond didn't have nothing to grab on. And Diamond definitely got tore up. So that's that. But Envy, you don't get no points for it because you really wanted to take that anger out on Jocelyn, like I said, but you knew you couldn't. So you just decided to move the anger over to Diamond. Like, okay. And after they fought, Diamond started yelling at the audience, shut the F up, let's jump on the scale. She don't got no kids. My kid is only one. Then Diamond randomly said she got her titties done. What does that have to do with anything? What does that have to do with you being big overall? And this was the girl that Diamond was going back and forth with in the audience. So shout out to her. This audience was very vocal and very active. I like that. Even though I didn't agree with all of the audience's opinions, like I didn't agree with them booing Chinks, even with the Diamond and Envy thing, the audience, especially this girl, was saying how Diamond needed a moment. And it was like, no, Envy needed a moment and she needed somebody to take her anger out on. And then they was hyping Envy up while she was going off on Diamond, saying Diamond's bad built or whatever. And I'm just like, okay, like y'all really hyping her up. Like, So I didn't agree with everything they said, but it was still fun that they were interactive overall, like I said. So then Janisha was like, Dani and Andrea, y'all were just crying. And Diamond was like, yeah, what are y'all crying about? And the audience was like, exactly, they always crying. And Diamond was like, shut the F up. I'm not talking to y'all. I'm talking to them. So Dani was basically saying how Jocelyn and Ballistic have been nothing but kind to her. And the same way people talk about them online without knowing them, people do the same thing to her and Andrea all the time. Then Andrea took over and stood up and started screaming at the crowd again, telling them that they're closest to her and Dani, and that's why they don't like them. They're closer to Dani and Andrea than any of the other girls on the stage because they're regular girls. So the audience started chanting at Andrea saying, we don't care, we don't care, we don't care. And she was like, I don't give a F either. I don't give a F either. But clearly you do, because this is your second time getting up in the middle of the stage, facing the crowd and arguing back and forth directly with the crowd. So you clearly do care about their opinions and they're clearly getting under your skin. So Jocelyn and Janisha got up and they said, okay, let's get to the bottom of this. We really want to know why y'all hate Drea and Dani so much. So they let the audience speak and started giving them the mic. And Janisha was being so messy. She was telling this girl with the red hair, "You been so vocal. Do you want to come on stage and check them?" And she was like, "No, like I'll take my mic from the audience. Y'all ain't pay me to get into a brawl," because she knew what they were setting her up for. She would have went on that stage and probably ended up getting jumped by Andrea and Danny. And Zeus wouldn't have gave her no money, and they would have aired it and probably just blurred her face out, if anything. Hell no. So thank you, redhead girl. Don't let them play you. But when they gave her the mic, she spoke nothing but facts. She said she liked them at first, but now she realized that all they do is cry, whine, and jump their way through the show. And I have to agree. So then Joseline gave her the mic, and she said it's not that she doesn't like Dani and Andrea, but she feels like they're very performative and that the people are over the act. Then this girl and Janisha clocked each other's tea. She was like, "I see you, Janisha." And I think she was saying what I'm saying. Like, "I see how messy you being tonight." And Janisha was like, "No, I see you. You've been talking a lot. You need to get on that mic." So then this girl got on the mic and she said, "I don't know y'all not to like y'all, but I'm from Compton and all that victim shit y'all be doing is fake." I fell out. And she told them, "Learn how to fight. Y'all can't fight and y'all always talking and you ain't whooped nothing. ISIS whooped your ass." Talking to Andrea. So Isis got up and started dancing and twerking. Of course, she was hype after that. And Andrea was like, "Okay, so what? It was at 4 a.m. It was at 4 a.m. Like, girl, it don't matter what time it was. You got your ass whooped," like she said. So then Joseline went up to Isis and she was like, "So after you hearing what the crowd had to say, do you want to go one-on-one with Andrea because she choked you out and almost made you pass out?" So Isis said no about Andrea because she was like, "We already squashed it, but me and her can go." Y'all see she pointing at Danny. And Danny was like, "No, you could audition again next season and then we could fight. Make it on the next season and then we could fight." So basically, Danny ducked the fade. And Isis did end up apologizing to Andrea. She was like, "I hope you weren't offended by me picking up the wig and smelling it. But if I did offend you, I apologize. I was just playing. It wasn't serious, basically." And Andrea was like, "Yeah, I understand. It was just a vulnerable moment for me, and I'm always defend myself and my friend." And Isis said, "I understand y'all bond, but I also understand everything the audience is saying, and I agree with the audience more." So Andrea started putting her hand in front of Danny, and she was like, "Danny's done." I said, "She's done. Danny's been through a lot." And Jocelyn was like, "Yeah, Danny don't want to fight no more." And once again, Andrea is telling the crowd she don't care what they think. And Janisha told Danny and Andrea the truth. At the end of the day, this is your audience. And with the industry that you're in, some of your job is to please your audience. People have to want to come see you and they have to find you attractive. A lot of people don't really find Danny and Andrea attractive. So you have to have a personality that we like for us to want to buy tickets and want to see you. Danny opens her legs and starts patting her cat and showing her thong, which basically has her completely exposed. She was being very obnoxious, and Andrea was also bugging out. And I saw another creator on TikTok, I don't know their name, but I reposted the video, basically saying that their theory is that Andrea and Danny have gotten on the stuff that Joseline used to be on, but now Joseline is clean and they're hooked on the stuff still, and that's why she keeps them around, because she just feels bad for them at this point. So Janisha and Joseline basically said that they agree with the audience and that they are also tired of Danny and Andrea always jumping or fighting each other's battles instead of fighting their own battles. Danny says she's tired of this rhetoric, but it's the truth. So Joseline said, "Y'all have to stop fighting for each other." And Andrea said, "Oh, y'all want to see a fight right now? Come on, Danny, let's fight. I love you, though." And they square up and start fighting. Danny was getting Andrea at first, but then Andrea had kind of got Danny in some type of chokehold and she was on top of her. But Joseline immediately ran over to break it up and everybody just looked like they were in shock. Like, what the hell just happened? Here are some of the facial expressions. Like, it was just confusion. So after Joseline and the security guards broke them up, Joseline was just looking at Andrea like, what the fuck was that about? And Andrea was like, "What? What? Y'all wanted to see me fight my friend, so y'all got what y'all wanted. It's all love, though." And she went over to Danny and tried to hug her and comfort her, because y'all basically see Danny was distraught after the fight. And Andrea just kept saying she was sorry, and they just sat right back down next to each other. Very weird. And Andrea was like, "Y'all made me do that to her." Who? The audience that you just said you didn't care what they thought? Or you blaming Janisha and Joseline now? Like, I'm confused. So Rose was like, "Why would you fight Danny? You don't fight your friend over no TV shit. But isn't that what you and Hennessy did?" But I guess her and Hennessy wasn't really friends, so it's different, right? And then Isis was like, "That's how you know they fake as fuck." Janisha was like, "That's not what we wanted. We wanted y'all to stick up for yourselves. Nobody told y'all to fight each other." And then Erica made the most sense. She came up to them and she was like, "Andrea, didn't you just say that Danny was done fighting and you didn't let her fight Isis? So why is Danny fighting you? Like, why would you then stand up and try to fight Danny after you just said Danny's been through a lot and she's done fighting and Isis can't fight her?" What? So Jocelyn was crying and she was like, I don't like that. I don't understand why y'all would sit up here and fight in front of everybody. That's not what we said we wanted from y'all. Everybody was just saying that they want y'all to be your own person and have your own fights. Y'all don't need to 2-on-1 everything. That didn't mean y'all need to turn against each other. Like, where did that logic come in? So Danny must have said something, and Isis was like, oh, you didn't want to get in the field, though, so shut the F up. And then Danny just started screaming, dame yo poquito, dame lo paquita. So Isis got up and was like, what you want to do? And Andrea stands up in front of Danny. Like, again, you don't want Danny to fight somebody else, but you was just willing to fight her. Make it make sense. So Des and Erica walked up with Isis, and Janisha was like, girl, why are you standing in front of Danny? Let her fight her own battles. This is what we was just talking to y'all about. And Andrea was like, y'all gonna have to jump me. Y'all gonna have to jump me. I'm not moving. So Isis ended up basically swinging on Andrea, but kind of swinging over her to try to get to Danny. And they both started trying to hit Isis, and then a bunch of other people jumped in. It was an all-out brawl, all-out melee. Couldn't really tell who was fighting for a second. So in that time, Jayla ended up sneaking Erica. So they went a couple more rounds. I will say that these rounds was more of a tie. They was both just bopping each other upside the head. So Jocelyn was like, okay, it's been tears, it's been fights, but it's almost time to wrap it up. And we still haven't talked to some of the ladies. I want to talk to some of the fan favorites. So let's start with Neek. So Neek came up and Jocelyn was like, well, I know you had a bone to pick with Raven, but Raven left the building and didn't come back. So what would you have said to her Oompa Loompa ass? And Neek basically said that if Raven was here, she would have told her that she needs to apologize publicly or she's going to have to see her. She said, obviously, they're on tour together, so they're co-workers and they have had conversations. And, you know, I guess Raven tries to be nice to her. And she told Raven, like, okay, we cool. But when we get back on those cameras, you need to apologize because you disrespected me on the cameras. And now Raven is not here to do that. And Janisha was like, you know, I kind of have to call out Dani because she was the main one saying all season that Neek wasn't going to win. She's unprofessional, so on and so forth. And Jocelyn was like, yeah, Neek knows how to have a good time, but I also think Neek is a superstar. And Jocelyn said, I enjoy Neek dancing to my left, just like I enjoy Rose dancing to my right. And that kind of threw me off because I'm like, okay, if you have Rose and Neek in the front with you every night on your left and your right, that means that you feel like they're the best dancers. So why didn't Rose get 25K? I feel like Rose got robbed of her 25K and that her spot should have been the spot that Oceans is in. And Rose basically broke down and she was like, while she loves the cabaret, it is a very difficult work environment because, you know, you do have beefs going on. But at the end of the night, the same girl that you have beef with, who you might have just fought, you have to dance with, you have to drink with, you have to celebrate with, you have to work with. And you're working very closely with these people and you're working with them repeatedly 3 or 4 nights a week. And Rose said, and I hope y'all know that Dani and Andrea are not the people that they try to portray themselves as on this show. And Neek and a few of the other ladies were agreeing like, yeah, they're definitely not. Which goes back to what the lady was saying earlier from the audience that you guys are performative and it's an act and the crowd can see right through it. So then Neek pulled Drea up and she was like, I really, really F with Drea, no shade. And then she tried to give Dani a little bit of love, but you could tell that the love from Neek to Andrea was more genuine than the love that Neek tried to give Dani. And she was like, I F with Dani too, but it's a love-hate relationship. And Dani was just like, whatever, girl. And then Andrea went over there hugging all the people on the couch with Isis. And she was sitting right next to Isis. And I'm like, so why did y'all just fight? But I guess they literally just fought because Andrea was in the way and defending Dani. So I guess it's not really no beef. So Jocelyn brought Kay down and she was like, I want to talk to Kay. We haven't talked to her at all. And she's matching with Janisha. So we saw that her and Janisha's dresses were very similar. They both looked very good. But Kay was really emotional. She was crying. And Neek was like, what's your sign? And she said she was a Cancer. And Neek was like, oh, that makes sense. You know, they're very sensitive. And obviously she was crying because she doesn't like to see the ladies fight. We know that Kay herself does not like to fight. And she bruises and knots up extremely easy and extremely badly. Jocelyn talking about, I want to suck both of y'all tonight, and gets on her knees and starts licking her tongue at them. And Janisha was like, Jocelyn, get up. Like, girl. So Jocelyn was like, Erica, I wanted to talk to you about you and Kay's fight. I felt like you were very evil the way you were punching her in the face. And Erica was like, okay, well, me and her made up anyway. And Kay was like, yeah, I licked her cat last night. Like, what's going on? All these girls messing around. We already know that, though. We learned that this season with Rose, Hennessy, Neek. Like, it's a lot. So Kay gave her final thoughts, basically told the ladies if they are going to fight, they should just get over it after. It's no reason to keep dragging stuff out. Jocelyn said as far as her final thoughts, she wanted to let everyone know that she's going to be taking a break because she wants to have a baby. And she wants these ladies to run the cabaret. Now, do I think that Jocelyn is going to be completely gone? No. But do I think that she might fall back if she does get pregnant and like just pop in and out? Yes. but it still will only be temporary. I don't think this is her retirement. But I'm definitely happy for Joseline if she wants to have another baby. I think it would be great because Ballistic has helped her raise Bonnie, even though Bonnie is Stevie's daughter. So I'm pretty sure, he wants his own kid with Joseline. And if they had a son, that would be like perfect because then they'll get their boy and their girl and they'll be set. So you see at the bottom here, the ladies were having their group hug and Andrea was just salty and she was like, oh, but when we cry, it's performative, but everybody else is crying now and it's genuine. The crowd don't fuck with you, Andrea. What don't you get? So the ladies gave their final thoughts. Moni said that even though Joseline didn't get to see her dance, she'll always have her loyalty. Ocean said Joseline is her girl. They live right down the block from each other. They both are real Lauderdale hoes, and she love her. That's her girl. And she also said that she knows she started out with 2 left feet, so she thanks Joseline for letting her get her shit together. I don't think you ever got your shit together. You still can't dance, but okay. And Shanks was like, even though I left early, I do want you to know I'm grateful for the opportunity. You found me in the strip club and brought me on your show. I know you feel like I took the opportunity for granted, but I love you. Fetish said she had the best time of her life. I'm like, girl, you was only there for like 2 days, but okay. Dani says she loves Joseline. She loves Melissa. She loves Ballistic. Thank you, Zeus. And she'll do it all over again. She always going to stand 10 toes down for Joseline. And Joseline says she loves Dani. She appreciates Dani. And she has Dani at the top of her list as her #1 supporter. Russian, aka Jayla, says she wish she would have came and focused more on showing her talents than beefing with other people, and she hoped that Joseline bring her back for season 6. Hennessy shouted out the Bronx. She said she loved Joseline. Joseline said Hennessy is one of her favorite people in the world. Hennessy challenges her, but she also protects her. And they both agreed that they're just alike and have very similar personalities, especially when they get upset. Andrea says she loves Joseline. Joseline changed her life. She went from living in the strip club and being a regular girl to being on TV. So she went and sat on Joseline's lap. Joseline was hugging her, and Andrea was like, and she's going to always keep me and Dani around because she knows we'll die behind her. We'll die behind the cabaret. And Dani over here shouting, that's my friend, your friend that you just fought. And Joseline was like, you got that hot PUSSY on me, Andrea. And well, y'all can see that. Like, why is Joseline's hand on this lady's crotch? But then Andrea goes and sits back down. Her and Dani end up hugging and consoling and caressing each other. Envy said, Joseline, I know you're upset with me, but I still want you to know that I'm grateful and thankful for this opportunity. Joseline gave her the heart sign, as you can see with her hands, but I don't think Envy is forgiven, nor will she be back. So now it's Rose's turn, and she started by saying that Janisha and Joseline look beautiful tonight, giving them their flowers. And Hennessy started interrupting Rose and was like, shut up, you're not coming back for season 6B. But it sounded like Rose would be coming back if Joseline literally just said she enjoys having Rose dance on her right. You're not the one who's dancing on her right in front of the stage every day. Then Hennessy said that Rose took off last weekend when they were on tour. And Hennessy was like, yeah, because you wanted to go and hang out with Ocean's Trick. And Rose said that's not where she was. So Rose stood up and put her hand up, as you could see. And she was like, she's so obsessed with me. She can't stop. She can't stop. And Hennessy was like, what are you going to do about it? And Joseline said, no, what are you going to do about it? Because Hennessy, you the one popping it. So Hennessy went up to Rose. They started fighting. And Rose was actually getting Hennessy good this round. She won this round. But y'all know Hennessy fight dirty and she can't take somebody getting the best of her. So while Rose was on top of her, getting the best of her, hitting her, she decides to start biting Rose's nose. So Rose's nose is bloody. Everybody's like, oh my God, she bit her nose. And they like, Rose, it's okay. You got her. You won the fight. Joseline is like, paramedics ASAP. And Rose was backstage with Melissa and she was like, Hennessy needs to go. She's out here eating everybody's cat and now she's biting people. And let's not forget her kneeing people as well. So back to the final thoughts. Des says she had an amazing time. Joseline is like family to her now. Erica says she got her rocks off tonight. She was able to fight whoever she wanted to fight. And she's thankful for the opportunity. And of course, they confirmed that Des and Erica are dating. Lexi said that she's thankful and it's all love between her and Joseline, even if the crowd doesn't think so. And that her and Joseline actually do connect with each other because they both do music. So why would Joseline send you home because you do music then? Isis says she's glad that she made it this season instead of season 4 when she first auditioned. She actually don't think she was ready at that time. And Joseline was like, yeah, I'm proud of you. I just want to see you become a better woman and blossom and open up like a flower. Wet Wet ended up breaking down and crying again and just saying that, when she dusted Joseline, it wasn't no disrespect. She wasn't on that type of time and she was really hurt by the situation. Her and Joseline hugged each other, told each other they loved each other. And I did notice that the girls were, kind of surrounding Wet Wet with love, telling her she's looking good. Even Dani and Andrea was telling her, like, you looking good, Wet. So it was some little sisterhood there, I guess. And Neek was basically saying she could tell from Wet Wet reaction that she didn't think it was going to go like that, but it just happened. Neek said that she had a great time overall. She knew what she was signing up for. So she enjoyed herself and it was what it was, and she'll do it again. And you know, Joseline had to show her girl Janisha some love. She said she loved Janisha, their sisters, their friends, their family, and she wanted to give her flowers and thank her for hosting a reunion with her. So everybody was making mistakes in these last couple minutes. You could tell that they was all tired and ready to go. Joseline said she wanted to give one last shout out to the winners of season 5. So she called up Neek, Oceans, and Danny. And then she was like, oh, I meant Drea. And then she called Hennessy. And I'm like, girl, you always fake mixing up Danny and Drea. Like I said, all season, I felt like Joseline was trying to put a wedge in Danny and Andrea's friendship. But then tonight when they fought, she was like so surprised by it. I feel like you've been pushing for that, girl. And then when Janisha wrapped up the show, she said, thank you for tuning into Joseline's Cabaret New York reunion. Like, girl, this is Joseline's Cabaret Texas. But overall, the first 2 episodes of this reunion were really good. This 3rd episode kind of went downhill, but still was overall entertaining. And the season was definitely an entertaining season. Overall, I would give it an 8 for the season and the reunion combined. And my top 5 from the season and the reunion combined is going to be Chinks, Neek, Dez, Wet Wet, Fetish, and then I'll put Lexi at number 6. My least favorite 5 is going to be Danny, Andrea, Oceans, Queen Envy, and Raven. And that is my review of Joseline's Cabaret Texas, the season and the reunion. So I will see y'all next season for Joseline's Cabaret season 6. Until then, make sure y'all check out my other reviews and keep up with my Baddies content if you watch Baddies. And follow me on TikTok and subscribe to my YouTube. All right, see y'all later. Bye.